me doing the introduction,
Yeah.
asking you who you are and what you do. So that's the time where you can share a bit of who you are and what you do, the values that you offer, and what currently you're doing connected to your program and message. And then along the way, I'll throw in the topic, all right? And then that is where we're going to be focusing on. So
Got you.
this session will be um, less than an hour, so it's going to be fast. So it's going to be amazing, all right?
Yeah.
All right, recording. All right, recording in three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Talk podcast with me, Jan Santos. And today we have a very special guest. I am more of a fan. I really love this person, her message, and the character in this person. Such an amazing heart, full of kindness, full of light. She is the founder of Accessibility Partners and Inclusion, a coach, a speaker, a leader, a friend. Let's all welcome MJ. MJ, welcome to the
Hey,
show.
hey, Jan. It's such an honor to be here. Like, it's amazing. Happy Tuesday. Happy You Day. Happy day.
Yeah, guys, for all that is listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube Podcast, we are in the presence of royalty. The power that comes out from this person is really abundant. I'm learning a lot, and she's just a perfect example of how light, kindness, and love really should be. So, my friend, like what I've said, I'm excited. Before we start, I want you to introduce who you are and what you do for everyone that is still joining us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube Podcast. The floor is yours, Mandy.
I am so excited, and you're gonna have to like get to the MJ bit. We know it's an uncomfortable thing to say. We know that we've got a little bit of trauma around the phrase MJ, whether we're talking about the ball game or the moonwalking. We know that, but MJ is what it is on account of the fact that I've got two names. So I'm Mandy Jane Lace, and I'm a cultural cultivator. It basically means I'm a bit of a farmer on the earth. The reason I am is because it's where I live currently. I don't know about you, but I live on planet Earth. It's a difficult gig. It's a difficult gig, but it's difficult because I roll around it. So I'm a disabled cultural cultivator. What I do is I help people connect, and I help them connect to those systems that we all experience, but some of us just a little bit more often than others, or with some intensity. So I work with disabled people, and I help them access all sorts of things in their culture for them to meet their needs, and not in a patronizing way, not in a way that's like, oh, there we are, let me help. It's not like that. We help people access what they're allowed to have and not feel shame about it, because culturally it's not really very respected yet, because people are sometimes a bit daft. They don't mean to be. It's not respected yet that people have needs and it's okay to have them met, and yet we all have needs, and we all need them meeting. So I'm a teacher. I didn't want to be. I'm a I'm a therapist. I wasn't keen on that job, and I'm a trainee social. I've nearly finished. I'm doing my last gig in social work. I mean, I've been doing social work for 25 years, but I'm just about, next May is when I finish this part of the gig, and I get my license to be a full-time social worker, which I already am actually, Jan. But yeah, so, and I run Accessibility Partners, and we work through the Access to Work program. It's not just, people think, oh, access to work, what's that? They think it's like, oh, we're going to give people that are poorly and disabled help to go do something nice. No, no, no,
Right.
no, no,
Right.
no. We help people access their work and continue to access the work they're in, and get the help and reasonable adjustments and adaptations and accommodations and support, and actually culturally allow them to be who they are within the workplace and get the help
Love
that
that.
they need.
Wow, love that. That is such an amazing breakdown of who you are and what you do. Whoa, 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 whoa! Wait, 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 wait!
Yeah.
For everyone that's listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Podcasts, a legend just joined us today.
Jan, I can't deal with it, but I think you need to be in my mirror. I just need to have you on repeat on a little app that goes,
Yeah,
a legend
yeah.
has arrived, because I'm really not comfortable with that stuff. But when I hear it, there's a little bit of me just inside. There's a little tiny
But
bit that
you
makes
know
me
me.
feel happy.
You know me. You know I love you so much. I
Oh,
love
I love you.
the values that you share, the
Oh,
kindness that you have. So yeah, you are a living legend.
so
And
are
for
you.
everyone that is listening, I am part of that powerful team with MJ
Oh,
here,
you are.
and we're doing our best to give light, kindness, and love. Oh, James Lawrence, join us. James, if you want to raise your hand, we can bring you up the stage so you can ask question or add something. But let's get into the core of the show. In
Yeah,
this
yeah.
thought provoking episode, we will dive into the complex relationship between employment and equality, diversity, and inclusion. While many organizations prioritize diversity and inclusion initiatives, the question still remains: is employment alone enough to create a truly equitable workplace? And we have the amazing MJ here that will share light in this question. The floor is yours, Mandy.
I wonder how many names I can have, Jan. I think I'm
And
just
you
gonna
know me.
call. I'm just gonna call you
The
Jay.
funny thing, the
Yeah.
funny thing when we're running meetings, you can call MJ, you can call Mandy, you can call her Jane.
You can call me. You can call me. They often call me Mary Jane, and then I know what they've been doing on the night, because we all know what Mary Jane is. So people expose themselves through the way that they tell my name. It's interesting. Say my name, eh? Say my name. So I'm MJ, and I'm grateful to be here. For those that are here already and those listening, please do come on up if you'd like to. It's fantastic that I'm just going to follow you. Sorry, Ravneet, thank you. Hey, it's lovely to see you. I see you're I'm just going to have a look actually, if you don't mind. Head of partnerships at Rethink AI. I like that. I like that. Let's have a listen and see what you think about this. It's always lovely to get a new opinion on an important subject. So we're asking.
Francesca, yeah,
Sorry.
just
Oh
joined.
wow!
She
Hey,
just joined.
Fran. Very
Guys,
important lady.
if you wanna join us up here, please raise your hand so we can bring you up,
Mm.
so you can ask a question or add something you want to share. Going back to the point,
Yeah.
MJ.
Sorry, there we are.
Yeah. Well, while many organizations prioritize
Uh-huh.
diversity and EDI, the question still remains: is
It does.
employment alone enough to create a truly equitable workplace? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, indeed. And most people would expect, as I've already explained, that a teacher. Remember, I wasn't keen on it. A teacher would expect to be saying yes. I'm preparing these students from the age of birth to coming out of school, and it's time for me to turn that into workfulness. So these people, this is the whole point of them learning and growing. So of course it's the answer, but I'm afraid the teacher in me would have to say that she disagrees. So the therapist in me says that actually workfulness is very healthy for us. We know that workfulness, and whether that's paid for or not paid for, workfulness is an incredible opportunity for successful feelings. And we know that we create hope molecules by moving. So when we move, whether that's magically or chemically, spiritually, emotionally, or physically, or thinking, any of those ways, the ways of moving, if we move our energy, then actually it's going to be good for us, when it's for something that we want to do and we like doing. So we need to do what we love and love what we do and do it. And then we've got a guaranteed positive outcome. But you'd say, well, therefore, surely the coach in you, the leader in you, the organisational representative, head of services in you would say, then that must be it. You make your money out of it, don't you, MJ? That's how you feed the charity. So surely you want everyone to go to work, and you think it's an answer. Well, I'm sorry, but the coach in me says no. Again, it's not. And then the social worker in me says, well, come on now, anti-oppression is your gig. Like, if there's anything you are, in comparison to every other field. If people want to know what a social worker is, and frankly, most people don't know what a social worker is, right? I'm going to say it. In fact, I probably like anyone on here to define me what a social worker is, because I don't think people know. So that's kind of a beginning problem, right? Before we get into the meat of that, I would say that the social worker in me says you're meant to be anti-oppressive. That means, in what do I mean by that? I mean, you're meant to allow people to culturally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, physically, equitably, in terms of education, in terms of attitude and access to the built environment, to work, to policy and practice, to law, to regulation, to understanding their situation individually, in collaboration and communication with everyone around that person and their family circle, and for that to be non-judgmental, and for it to be equitable and fair and kind and with respect and dignity, and apportioning opportunity to people, not preventing them access to opportunity, any of them. So if they do want to support each other, help them to do that equitably, not enslave them. So
Wow.
I believe that the social worker in me would say, no, I'm sorry. I don't believe that employment is the answer to equality, because actually it's collaboration, Jan. It's
Love
connection.
that.
It's each other.
Wow.
It's equity. It's powerfully sharing the agenda. And I'm not sure that people understand how to share an agenda without an agenda.
Mm. I love how you break it all down and give us options, different angles in just direct, straightforward answering that question. You really gave us a wide perspective on how to dive into this topic. Before I jump to James and give him the floor, I just want to focus on what do you think? Because this has been like the power core of your brand message, the movement that you're part in, MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the challenges and opportunities. Let's discuss the challenges of organization, what they face and what they do achieve in connection
Absolutely.
to EDI. Let's
Yeah,
explore the
let's.
potential solutions and best practices. But
Yeah.
before that, James, welcome to this episode. The floor is yours, my friend.
Hi, Jan. Hi. And good morning, MJ.
Good
Great to
morning.
see you here today. Yeah. Well, for me, employment was a challenge at the last employer that I had. I've been working in the voluntary sector though now for quite some time. I'm really getting my roots into the local community here, and I've won some awards so far for the voluntary work I've done, but I only got an award from that factory that they no longer wanted me, which was disappointing, as they trained me up as their first mental health first aider, and then they didn't listen. I mean, it is your choice to listen to people, but the way they listened was they showed me the door, which is disappointing because of the health conditions that were being suffered there, which I'd pointed out to these people in the HR department, and I just felt that I was just interrupted all the time when I tried to when I got these fine points across to them that the situation was toxic, and it became untenable really, which is very disappointing when you've got this qualification to show these people what you see happening, and they respond in such a such a challenging way to me. But thankfully, my health now is responding with the freedom of not being under that kind of duress and pressure that I was under, and I feel really welcomed in my local community and all the services I've been helping at, and that looks very positive for the future, to move forward into new adventures where I see definite employment. I've got I actually got an induction later this week, so that will be a very positive step for me. And
well,
I'm really,
congratulations in advance, James. I love that you shared that story, because that really is connected to what I want MJ to discuss. It's the challenges of the organizations. What they face in achieving true equality, diversity, and inclusion. And this is, what you shared, James. It's a perfect example. You were expecting something, you shared something, but it was not how, what you envisioned. That is something opposite that happened. So, MJ, what can you share in terms of the challenges and opportunities that organizations face in achieving the true equality, diversity, and inclusion? The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, look, I'm going to say this now. I've not found public speaking an easy gig. I've had to do some learning, and I've had to do it repetitively, and that will lead to something I'll tell you about later. But I really feel excited to explain some of the challenges that I experience, my organisation experience, and I know other organisations experience, because they tell me and we talk. And we're talking with leaders at the very top. We're talking about leaders of the NHS, of the DWP actually, of local councils, of county councils, of the Chamber of Commerce departments, of doctors and psychiatrists, of every major kind of lead in the country actually are flocking to us, because they're all saying that actually they need real conversations, and they need to have them with their participants, and the participants, the people who come to us, so the individuals who would require support at work, who come to us through our website, at accesstowork.me, which is a2w.me. I'm saying it because I think it's appropriate to start letting people hear it again and again and again, because everyone is entitled to access to work in the broadest sense. They're all saying the same thing, and what they're saying is that we don't understand each other. And it's not that anyone is unkind or not wanting to be helpful. It's that when we don't understand, when we don't see what's like us, we can't imagine it and we can't help it, because we find it difficult to ask those awkward questions. So I would say that the challenges are that we have to have an agenda without having an agenda. That's the first thing. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when we approach something, approach it with curiosity. When we speak to people, we say, look, we're going to be really honest about what this journey looks like, and it looks quite rocky. For a start, when we make an application to the government for support, we're looking at 6 months before they even answer the phone or send an email back to our application. Our application process isn't easy. So I'd say that the first thing that we'd say is the system's broken, but we know a way through. We know a way through, and some of it's like going down into a cave, and some of it's like climbing quite some rocky mountains and getting over some really hilly, rugged terrain, and some of it you're going to learn how to swim, and some of it you're going to feel like you're drowning, and it's not an easy gig, but it is possible. There is a journey we can take, but it's not without its perils, and it's not without its challenges, and it is going to take some learning. So I like to think that I've gone from how can I help you to let me show you the way, because without that, it's very, very difficult for people to get through. So the difficulty is that nobody knows how to do it. That's the first thing. And they don't know how to have the conversations about it. And they tend to try when it comes to about equality and diversity as opposed to with equality, diversity. And unless we do it together, unfortunately, we don't attend to inclusion. Now, it just is that way. So we need good conversations about real happenings in an honest way, without any power struggle, and for everyone to really want to look at resolving, to solving, to problem challenges, to looking at the challenges as opportunities actually. So when you say what are the opportunities, well, they're already there. They're in the challenges. And every time anything we deny or avoid or get confused about or respond in an emotional way when we react and not respond, they're opportunities for organisational leaders, for cultural creators, for people like me and you, through the act of Access to Work, because through the Access to Work programme, they bring us in too. So it isn't just the participants, the individuals we support, it's not just the employers, it's not just the leaders, it's Access to Work themselves. Bring us in to do training, to help the organisation grow their culture in a way that's honest and articulated and that has clear outcomes and real opportunities for people to have actual conversations about what's going on. And what we find is that the attrition rates, the rates of people leaving, they just get smashed out of the water because nobody wants to leave somewhere where they belong.
Wow. Wow, that's knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb. That's an ultimate mic drop there. I love you, MJ. That was like amazing. You know, if we transcribe that, I think that's a workbook by itself. We need to talk about that. We need to release a workbook.
I agree. I think it's
Love that. Love
sensible.
that.
And I think that
Yes.
when
Yes.
people realise that it's not just the information, they can have the information. It's free. It's called the universal energy. They just need to tap into it. But it's not of me, Jan. It's through me. So I
Love that.
don't choose any of this. Just like nobody that's ever found out a challenge at work ever chose it. They didn't. Nobody wants to be at work feeling shit. Nobody wants
Love
to
that.
feel
Love
like
that.
they can't speak to anyone. Nobody wants to feel like their needs are greater than other people's, so they're going to be overseen and overlooked. Nobody wants to feel like they can't turn up at the event and feel the same as everyone else. Nobody, from our very highest leaders, whatever highest is, the front facing people, the people that take the shit, the ones that get cancelled, those people, they want to be able to be seen and heard and valued too, just the same
I
as
totally agree.
everybody in the
Yeah.
culture, right?
Love that. I totally agree. Wow, that is amazing. Like straight to the point, guys. It will really change your perspective. What really hit me is when you mentioned, instead of what can I do for you, let me show you the way. For me, that's a game changer, and it really opened a different perspective on how you look on things, maybe in business and in life. So I learned something, and I know everyone that is listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Podcasts also learned something that would change their perspective and help them as they continue their journey in life. Thank you. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, James, Francesca, Basil. Thank you. We are now in the part where instead of asking, what can we do for you? Let me show you the way as we learn from MJ. So, this is the part where we give the platform for our guest to use it to show the world what they do and what they offer, the content that they create, what is it for, where can you connect, and where can you see them. This is the part that we will do that. So, MJ, my friend, the floor is yours. Anything you want to promote, anything you want to release, the live streams that you do, please do promote because I'm sure our listeners, our viewers are excited to connect with you. The floor is yours, my friend.
I'm more excited to connect with them. This is the thing, right? This is what is my raison d'etre. It's my reason for being, is so that we can connect. And the reason for that is because we have never been at a more important time for us to authentically to connect and to shine what you refer to as our light. There's a reason for that. And it's because everyone knows that it's not working the way it's going. It's just not. Not for anyone. And I'm going to be a little bit direct now, hopefully with some kindness. But I roll around the world. I've alluded to that. I use a wheelchair, and everyone that works with me also has some sort of challenge. We work with people who experience paralysis, quadriplegia, tetraplegia, mental health problems, chronic and life-limiting health conditions. We've helped my coach's family and other people's families to continue with workfulness at the most difficult, challenging, really, overwhelming periods of their time. That's why I had to train as a therapist. It's why I'm becoming a social worker. I'm not going through this for nothing. I'm doing it because it's important that we work together at that time, because it's the most challenging time of a family's life. And each time we need to be able to help people, work towards a different way, finish up what they're doing, get supported to do it whilst they finish up what they're doing, or to see different opportunities. Do a SWOT analysis. Let's see what we've got going on that we can do. We have people that carried on creating because they could imagine, they just couldn't do the actions themselves, so somebody else made up their dreams by helping them under their direction. So we can do a lot of things, and we do that through the website that I've already explained. It's the Access to Work programme in the UK. There's different rules in different countries, and we are open to collaborate worldwide with any leader of EDI that wants to share with us their way, so that we can share our way too. Because we think it's a collaboration of leaders, because it's a collaboration of hearts. That means we're better together, and we know that. We know that because when we're all working on the same thing, magic happens. That's just the way it is, especially if we do that without any judgment. We don't expect perfection right from each other. What we say is, let's have a conversation, a real one, an authentic one, about the challenges of including disabled people, or people with mental health problems, or anyone, because we all experience all of those things all of the time anyway. So we're just talking about everybody. So if leaders want everybody to feel included, then we're the organisation to get in touch with. And because Access to Work has to be a specific provision, and that's why we have www.a2w.me, separately and in an EDI and inclusion and accessibility and equanimity way and equality direction, we have inclusion.gg. And I specifically went to a neurodivergent young man who's a genius and said to him, look, inclusion's taken. And he said, well, you know what you're doing, don't you? You're playing a good game. So why don't you just go and see? Hang on a minute. And he looked and he went, it's free. Can I buy it? And I went, what? And he went, .gg, buy it. It's the one. Go get it. And I went, all right then. So I went, all right, I'll do that. And he went, there we are. So that was our tagline. We didn't choose it. It chose us. And actually, I knew what it was saying before it knew what it was saying, before I knew what it was saying, because I said it. And I remember thinking, oh, it's a generation game in the UK. For anyone that remembers it, it was a game where Bruce Forsyth used to sit and they, at the end, somebody would get a conveyor belt. And if you remember but the conveyor belt used to come out from behind these curtains, like these cut vinyl curtains. Each item would come through on a conveyor belt. There'd be a Breville toaster. There'd be a soda stream. There'd be a cuddly toy, and he used to go, oh, and they'd have to watch it and try and remember it. Now I think I want the generation game right now, because my memory's becoming phenomenal, because we have so many clients, and I touch their file. So we do case management every week. It means that everybody in our organisation that's being worked with and working alongside gets a conversation with us. We talk about their case, and we look at opportunities to move that forward every single week currently. And we're growing according to that. We're growing according to that.
Wow.
That's
so
what
guys,
we do.
Please feel free to connect with MJ here on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, or visit the website that she mentioned. You can see it on her LinkedIn page. Please do connect. I'm sure she can help you in your journey towards success. Or you can be a blessing and help them.
Oh, we can't wait for that to happen too.
Yes.
Any social workers that would really rather be in an environment where they're seen, valued, and heard. If you don't feel like that, I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying they might. And if they do, and they want to work with EDI in a real inclusive and authentic and honourable and respectful, and in a way that really does promote anti-oppression. If anyone, even in health, taking a medical model is a bit challenging. They'll have some learning to do. There'll be some stretching. They'll have to be up that rugged mountain of understanding. And the same for social workers. They'll have to actually play in an equanimitous way. They'll have to look at equity from a lived experience perspective, as well as one from a professional status, and feeling like they're there to do it for people and not with them. And if you come from education, you're going to have to look broader from outside of education, because applying that education is really vital and actually has to fit in with living in a community. Funnily enough, people do live in a house, and on that, if you come from housing, only 17% of the UK housing is accessible. And I've just been and I'm just going to say it as a point of EDI, I'm a comedian. I'm a sit down. I'm not doing it today because I can't stand up. I can't even do a roll on, honest, because usually, Jan, there isn't a ramp, so I do a roll around. But I'm not going to start. I'm just going to say that I'm going to keep it clean as well, and I don't normally. That I'm a sit down, and I've been invited to do one. Sorry, when I've been invited to do one, just
MJ
go on.
said she's gonna keep it clean.
I
When
am.
she said she's gonna keep it clean,
I am.
I totally agree, because when we're running meetings, that's a different MJ there.
Well, the point is, I just say what I mean and I mean what I say. But my point is this: that I can't get into the club that wants to put on a neuro inclusive night to raise money for neuro inclusion. And I said, look, now you're going to include my mind, because I want to be neuro inclusive, right? I'm neurodivergent, so clearly I want to be included. That's what inclusion's about. But I can't get in because I'm in a wheelchair now. When they're including my mind but they're not including my body, unfortunately, I come as a package.
Nice. Well, we so love you, MJ. Thank you for sharing your values. Thank you for being with us here in the show. James, anything you want to promote? Where can they connect with you, or where can they see you on different social platforms? The floor is yours, my friend.
I'm about on social media on Facebook.
You come to our rooms, James, don't you? Sorry to interrupt.
I'm in Clubhouse, and I'm there on 6 a.m. Mondays and 8 a.m. Saturdays and 7 p.m. on Monday evenings, and it's a really great space to be in, and I'm always available there. So if you pop into Clubhouse, you can speak there. And it's a wonderful place to be. But thanks for hosting me this morning, Jan. Got an exciting journey ahead of me this week with that induction beginning later in the week. So I'm really excited as to where that journey is going to take me. I think it's going to be exciting times now, and certainly the darkness is behind me, that's for sure. Thank you.
Wow. Love that. Surely darkness is behind you, and we are here in supporting you, and congratulations in advance, my friend. And guys, don't worry, for everyone that has been joining us, this is an episode that you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Podcasts. But this is also a test run for MJ here to continuously run audio sessions here on LinkedIn, just like what we've been doing on Clubhouse. So don't worry, we are going to push forward and starting a community here on LinkedIn utilizing the audio sessions, because clearly this is a healthy way to connect, share, and help each other. So another person that I really love and look up to here on LinkedIn, a good friend, a good mentor, Martin Stark. Where can they find and connect? Please share. The floor is yours.
Well, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. When I came on stage, I wasn't sure what I was going to say, and I just listened to MJ, and she was talking about the generation game, and I have 2 points about that. One is, why do we have to wait for present and future generations to wait for meaningful inclusion? Let's just take every step, every wheel that we can take right now to remove those barriers. And the second is, I'm going back in time. When I was about 5 years old, Larry Grayson was the host of the Generation Game, and he was a kind of gay guy, but couldn't say who he was. But his slogan was "Shut that door." Now let's turn that around to open that door. So whatever door you have, can you open that door for others, so that MJ can achieve her goals, Jan can achieve his goals, James can achieve his goals, Basil, Francesca, and Eni, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, can achieve their goals. Let's just open those doors and remove those barriers.
Love that. Like what I got from MJ a while ago while she was sharing, it's more of what can I do for you? It's more of like, let me show you the way. So that is something that really hit me and opened my perspective to a different angle. And that is something connected to what Martin is sharing. Let's all be connected and help each other achieve success in life, in business, and in our daily adventure. So, everyone, thank you for joining us. People on Spotify, people on Apple Podcasts, and people on YouTube Podcasts. Thank you for listening. And for everyone that joined in today's episode live on LinkedIn audio sessions, Francesca, I'm sorry, man, if I butchered your name, but I love you. Basil, Martin, James, MJ, our special guest. Always remember, have a positive outlook in life. Always smile, and God bless you. We love you all. Thank you. Bye.